Alright, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to have a little tutorial about creating something you see right there on the screen. Some kind of words, and we're going to put flames on top of it to make it look like it's burned, and there are flames coming off the top. We're not actually going to create the flames, we're just going to use the image from the internet, but you'll kind of see how it works. Alright, so here's the first step. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a file, a new blank file, and for this we're just going to go photo right here and landscape 8x10. We're going to hit OK. However, on this we're going to need the background to be black, so we're going to make sure right here the foreground color is black. Hit OK. Click this paint bucket. Boom. There you have it. Okay, you have a black background there. So the next thing we want to do, we have our black background where we're going to put the word burn on the document here. So the text tool over here on the left, you click it, and for this we're just going to use the impact, but we're going to go over here, we're going to change this color. The color that we want it to be is going to be a dark orange. Okay, so you're going to see why eventually, but let's go in here, select. We're going to find an orange in here. We're going to find a dark orange, and we're going to hit OK. Now we're going to type the word burn in capital letters. So there we have it. So we have it on impact, dark orange, capital letters. It's a little small, so we're going to stretch it out here. About right there, that's about good. And drop it. And there we have it. Okay? Alright, we're going to change the look of the text, the burn. So over here on the right hand side we have our layers. You have your background layer, you have your burn layer with the text, and we are going to add a new layer to that as well. Alright, so it adds a new layer right here at the top. Now over here on the left in your tools, there's a tool over here that you may or may not have used before, and it's called a gradient tool. Okay, so we're going to click on that. Alright, and up here at the top you'll see it gives us all kinds of options of things we can do with it. But we're going to click right here, and it's the one that we want to use for this is this one right here. It says black and white. So we're going to click on it, and we're going to hit OK. And we're going to make sure that we are on our layer 1 area right here. You're going to kind of see how this is going to work. So we're going to come down here at the bottom, and you're going to click with your mouse, you're going to click, and you're going to hold it down. You're going to drag it all the way up to the top of the screen. You're going to let it go, and it's going to look something like that. Basically what it does, the gradient tool blends two colors together. So on the one we just did, we did black and white, and if you weren't happy with it, you could do it again. And there you have it. Black is on the bottom, the white is on the top. Okay, but now as you can see, that's covering up everything. So we need to go over here to the left. We're going to click on our move tool. Okay, and we are going to take this this top layer, and we are going to create a clipping mask. We go layer, create clipping mask, and as you can see, it blends it right in there with the burn. And you can always move it around in here if you want. So you can see, you can move it off of there if you really wanted to, but we don't want to do that. So we're going to have the black down here on the bottom, and don't worry about it kind of covering up the word burn. It's not a big deal. Okay, hit OK. Now what we want to do is we want to remove the black on there because we still want to see some of that orange. So we have our clipping mask right here. We're going to go right here on the top part right above it. You're going to click here. It's going to bring up all these different things that you can do. And the one that we want to use for this is this screen right here. So you click on screen, and as you can see, it's going to add some things back here. So what it does, what screen does, is it removes all the black and it lets you see what's below it. But it continues to have the white in there as well. So right now you can see there's a lot of orange and a little bit of white at the top. But as long as you're selected on this layer 1 over here, you can always adjust it. So if you wanted to pull it down a little bit more, you can see it gives you more white, less orange, or you could pull it back up and you have more orange than you do white. So I think I'm going to go with something about right. Let's go right. I'm going to go right about there. Okay. So some orange on the bottom, but a lot of white on the top. Alright, over here on the right now, here's what we're going to do. So we want to merge the layer that we did for clipping mask and our text. So what you're going to do over here is you can select by holding down Control and clicking on both the layers. You can select both those layers. Now if you right click on your mouse, oh, nothing happens there. So let's go up here. If you go up here to Layer, it gives you this option to merge layers. We're going to do that, and as you can see, it just merges the layers, and it makes these two layers, the clipping mask and our text, just one layer. Now you can't move the color around, so once you've done that, you're going to have to be happy with where that orange is in the orange and white in your burn, because once you've done it, you got to keep it as is. So make sure you're happy with it before you do it. Let me make a little adjustment here, kind of move it over a little bit. Alright, so we have our burn on the page. We have a gradient overlay with a little bit of white at the top and orange at the bottom. And now I want you to add what we call bevel to our text, just to spice it up a little bit. So over here on the right, make sure you've selected your text layer. You're going to go up here to Layer. You're going to go here to Layer Style. And we're going to go to Style Settings. Now in the Style Settings area here, we have this little the option called Bevel. So we're going to click on that bevel. And on the bevel, you'll see that we have this directions. We want to make sure this is up and not down. And use the up one. And our size here, right now mine's pretty small, it's only on 5. I'm going to drag it up to about 225, and as I drag it, you can kind of see on the image what it does. It gives it a little bit of texture. Alright, so I'm going to go to 225, right around it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Let me go back up. Here we go, 228. Alright, let me hit OK. And as you can see right now, it added a little bit of texture to that text. Okay. So here's what we're going to do now. We want a lot of this text to look like it's been burnt. So we're going to use an image off the internet to do that. So you're going to go over here. Let's go to Google here. Okay, we're going to go to Google here. And we are going to do a search for cracking paint. So you're going to go cracking paint, do a search, and it gives you all these cracking paint backgrounds. Okay, so you kind of look through here. You can use whichever one you want, to be honest with you, but I'm going to use this one right here. Okay, so I'm going to click on it. This is what it looks like. I'm going to right click, save image. I already have one in here, but I'll save it again. Okay, so we've saved it. You're going to go back to Photoshop now. Make sure you know you saved it. You're going to go File, Open, find the cracking paint. There it is. Okay, there's the cracking paint that I just saved off the internet. Now I want to take this cracking paint and I want to apply it on my my burn text black background image. So you guys have seen it before a lot of times. If you drag it, you can drop it on there. If this ever pops up, just hit OK. Okay, hit OK here. It's fine. Now we can drag it and drop it on here. Okay, and here's the key. On this one, when I did it, for some reason it dropped it below the burn. You want to make sure it's above the burn, so I'm going to pull this layer down below my layer with the cracking paint. I'm going to click back on my cracking paint. Now I want to drag it over here, and I want to resize this cracking paint so that it covers my text, as you can see here. And then I'll hit OK, the check mark, and it focuses it back in, and there we have it. But you can see it's covering my text right now, and I don't really want it to do that. So we're going to use this other feature up here. So we're going to make sure we are selected on our layer with the cracking paint. You're going to come right up above it here to find a new blending mode. You're going to click it. You're going to find this one that looks like multiply. You click it, and there you can go. You can keep, it kind of blends it together. It adds that cracking paint inside there, but it also gives you that little orange tint that we had before, which is exactly what we want. Alright, but here's the thing. I do want to use a lot of this, but down here towards the bottom, I don't want it to look like it's cracked as much, because we're going to put a flame up here, and the flame will have burned more of just the top of the text and not the bottom as much, so we don't need this cracking down here. So we're going to go back up here to our layer, okay, or a layer or cracking paint layer. You're going to click on it. You're going to click on this thing right here called Add Layer Mask. It pops up this little white box right here. Now we're going to click on that white box. You got to make sure you've selected the white box and not the image of the cracking paint. You click on it. You come over here to the left. Make sure this is black here. Your foreground color is black. You come over here to this paintbrush. Click it. Now using that paintbrush, now once again with your brackets on your keyboard, you can make this circle bigger or smaller. Okay, and you're going to come over here and you're going to color along the bottom, and it's going to take a lot of that cracking paint out. Okay, so it's going to show you the original. You decide how much you want to do. The way I'm trying to make it look here is as if the fire has not burnt the bottom part. Okay. So that looks about good to me. Alright. Now we're getting closer to the end here, but I want to make an adjustment to the top up here as well. I don't want this to be, I'm going to want this top part to look like it's been burnt more, so part of the letters are going to be gone a little bit. So I want to erase some of that as well. Alright. So over here on the left hand side, I'm going to click, here's my layer mask that I just used. So I'm going to click on this cracking paint image. And I click on it, and I'm going to make sure that once again I have a black color here. So I'm going to click black. Whoops, not that color. Black. Okay. There we have it. And I'm on the paintbrush again, the brush tool. I'm going to come along the top here, and I'm going to just color the top of these letters off a little bit. Because once again, this is going to be, we want it to look like it's been burnt away when we insert this fire. So you're going to kind of go through here and take off these hard edges of these letters, and you decide how much you want it to be. Okay, I think we're getting close here. I think that's about right. Let's take a look. Come over here to the edge, get that a little bit. Okay. Now, so we have our burn. Looks like we've done a pretty good job here. We have our text how we want it. Now we need to find a flame. We're going to add a flame to the top of this to make it look like it's burnt away. So we're going to go back to Google again here. We're going to do another search. I'm going to do a search for flame. Okay, or flames, whichever one you want. And you can kind of scroll through here and find one that you think you like, but I'm going to use this one right here. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to wait for it to focus in a little bit, and I'm going to right click, save image. As you can see, I've used it before, it's already here. Okay, but I would just hit save on it, and I have the image. I'm going to go back over here to Photoshop. And once again, if you decide you want to make any little last adjustments, you can. Make a few little bit of small adjustments there. Okay, now you're going to go up here to File, Open. There's our flame, and we want to apply that flame to our text. So just like before, I want to click on my Move tool. Okay, I'm going to click on it. If it does that, hit OK. You can drag it and drop it. And there's my flame. You want to make sure it's the top layer. I'm going to resize it. Kind of put it over the top here. How you think you're going to want it to look. You can always adjust it a little bit more later. For now, we'll see how that looks whenever I apply it in a second. It's kind of hard to tell. Alright, so now over here we have our flame, and make sure you select your flame. You're going to go into these blending modes right here. Click it, and you are looking for the one that says screen. So you're going to click on the screen. You can see it kind of blends it in right there. And like I said before, you can always make these adjustments later. So now I'm going to make a little bit of adjustment on here because I want my flame stretched out on the edge. And you can see it comes off the side right here, but that's fine because we're going to fix that. But I want the majority of my flame on my letters. Okay. Alright, so there we have that. And OK. Boom. And next you're going to click on the same layer. We already have it. And you're going to add another layer mask right here. Okay, add a layer mask. Select that layer mask. Just like before, make sure this is black. Click on your brush tool. Now with your brush tool, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here because I want to really be able to see how this looks. With my brush tool, I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to erase like this flame. That doesn't need to be there. Okay, and you can erase that off the side. Okay, and you can pull this over. I'm going to get rid of this one over here. Okay, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to click inside here. That doesn't need to be there. I'm going to erase this. Anywhere that it just looks like it's a little abnormal, doesn't look like it's really burning. Just kind of touch it up. So there we go. And there's our flames. Once again, you can still adjust things if you really want to. So if I want to make this flame even wider, to stretch it out, I can. And go back here and I can erase some stuff again. Let's see what we think. This doesn't need to be here. And let's zoom out and take a look. See how it looks. And there you kind of have it. Alright, so there is my my text with my flame at the top, looking as if it's been burned away. I'm going to make one little last adjustment. I like that off the edge there. I'm going to zoom back in here, and this is what you need to do. So you just need to make adjustments till you have it how you like it. Make it look as real as possible. A few little touch-ups. And I think we're pretty much there. So once again, let's zoom back out. And there we have it. So we have our letters. We've made them look like they're cracking, they're burning. You've added the flames at the top, and we're good to go. So once you finished it, show it to me. Nice job.